Welcome back. We're here to talk about what happens after we get an equine into our care. So I'm here with Maya, I'm Colleen, and what are the initial steps that happen after an equine's going to come into our care?
So the initial steps are the same, whether the horse comes from animal control or from an owner surrender. I determine if that horse is going to go to a foster home or if it's going to come to Castle Rock Farm. We will talk more about foster homes in a future video. If they are coming to Castle Rock Farm, then I determine what field they need to go into, if we need to move horses around to make space for them, if they need to be quarantined, or if they can just go straight into a field that already has horses in it.
So how do you make the determination of which field they go into?
It's a little bit of trial and error. So if they need to be quarantined, then of course they go into a field that doesn't have any adjoining fence lines with other horses, where we can keep them at least 30 feet separate from other horses. If they do not need to be quarantined, then I just base it off of what little bit I can tell about their personality from meeting them, or if they are already bonded with a horse, if I need to keep them together with that horse initially. We do like to split up bonded pairs once they're settled, but it's sometimes easier to just let them adjust together. And then we will often end up having to move them because you never know personality-wise if two horses are going to get along or not.
Yeah. What makes you move a horse?
Behavioral issues, their feed requirements. If a field just has too many horses in it, we need to just make it a little easier for feeding, because it can be tricky if there are more horses than feeding pens and things like that. If we have, an issue with horses not getting along, or if we have a horse that needs more grass or less grass, or something like that.
So after the horses come in and get settled, or they go to a foster farm and get settled, what kinds of assessments do you do with them, and who does those assessments?
So this is where it is a little different depending on if they're an owner surrendered horse or a law enforcement case. If it's a law enforcement case and we are holding them until the court date and until we actually have legal custody, we do not usually do any assessments unless they have some critical medical need that needs to be seen by a vet. And then it also depends on what the Commonwealth's attorney wants us to do. We've had some cases where the Commonwealth's attorney has wanted us to fully vet the horses, do vaccines, do Coggins while the case was pending. And then we have others who don't want us to do anything except for medically necessary care until after we have custody. Feet, it's the same sort of situation. Even if their feet aren't in great shape, as long as it's not critical, usually with law enforcement cases, we wait until we have custody before we have a farrier look at them. And we do not do any sort of behavioral assessment or anything like that on them until after we have custody. The owner surrendered horses, if they come to us with a medical history and we know that they're current on vaccines and things like that, we usually don't have them assessed by a vet unless we think that there's something going on, whether it's a soundness issue or we think they have Cushing's that they've never been tested for or something like that. The owner surrenders, we also will have our farrier trim them as soon as possible if they need that. And then the EEP team will do an assessment and they check things like, can you catch this horse? Will it pick up its feet? More of the basic handling type of things.
All right, so we're done with that video, and in the next video we'll talk more about the care, feeding, and foster home of horses.